Welcome to the Town Creek ATV YouTube channel. Live life off-road. Hey, what's up? How y'all doing? Hope you're staying cool if you're in the southern, eastern part of the United States. Florida to basically, Virginia. Because it's hot. It's like really hot. And hope y'all are staying cool, staying dry. Hope you got some AC machines. Speaking of AC machines, I finally did a upgrade to the shop that I've been wanting for a very, very long time. Is it redneck? Hell yes. But that's how I like it. Got me an AC machine. Boop! So it's been cooling for about 10 minutes now, so it's still not very cool in the shop. But I also haven't gone through and really insulated yet, so that's going to be a project for this weekend. Got to run to the old Wally World and grab me some insulation tape. But that is not the point of today's video. Today's video is not about me having an AC machine in the shop. No sir, absolutely not. Today is about ATVs because that's my channel name. Story time. I was at Busco this past weekend, riding with the girlfriend and hanging out at King of the Deep series, watching some guys go through some stuff that you couldn't pay me enough to drop my stuff in. But that's what they do. That's their career. That's their game. Homeboy rolls up next to me in a Honda. It's like a Rancher. Don't think much of it. I look over and see auto. And I see a shifter. And I see a four-wheel drive switch. I'm like, dude, what kind of Rancher is that? He's like, oh, it's a Rancher 400 AT. He's only been in for about 3 years. They're kind of hard to find. You can't really, no one really bought them because they only had them for 3 years. And most people want a foot shift Honda, not an automatic Honda, which I totally understand. Being a Honda guy myself, I 100% get it. So I was like, okay, that's really cool. I'll have to look for one of those and find it. Well, wouldn't you freaking know, last night I'm scrolling through Facebook, as I do every single day, and I come across what the guy had listed as a Foreman 400 04. I'm like, okay. He wants $2,700 for it because it smokes a little bit. And had some other issues, some top end issues and whatnot. I'm like, let's go look at it. So I get there, I find out the valve cover is leaking and it's got possibly at least one, maybe two strip bolts. Don't know. Gotta look into that. So I talked the guy all the way down to 1,600. Got it done, bought the bike, brought it home. I start messing with it and realize that it has been torn into badly, really badly. And poorly put back together. So I started digging around trying to figure out what, is this actually a Foreman 400 or what is it? Because nothing made sense. Nothing made sense. So I'm looking, and I discovered I bought an 07 Honda Rancher 400 AT 4x4. Yeah. I bought the bike I had never seen 5 days ago. I was mind blown. So anyway, let me walk y'all around this thing since some of y'all have probably never seen these. I looked up videos for these bikes and all you find are tutorials from like 13 freaking years ago on how to run these bikes and walk around and all that kind of stuff. Let me walk you around this thing, show you what I'm working with. It is partially torn down because I was messing with it last night before I almost had a heat stroke, had to go inside. Whatever, no big deal. Formalities, it's cool. Check this thing out. I present to you an 07 Rancher 400 AT 4x4. It is not the GPS edition, all right? How do I know that? When you turn the screen on here, it doesn't have the little GPS circle, okay? But it has everything else. It's got that. It's got the auto shift over here for reverse neutral drive, all right. It's got the 4-wheel drive to 2-wheel drive selector switch. Now that's it. Other than that, it's really just a regular ass Rancher, all right. It's everything else is the same. It's a twin I-beam, or basically, regular independent front suspension with a solid axle rear, all right. So that's all Honda Rancher, all right. The only major difference is basically right here. Is the only real difference. All right. Now this thing at some point ran into a cow or something and has pushed this bar way back into the body. Now that wouldn't be a big deal on your other Honda Ranchers that are foot shifter ES because there's nothing here to worry about. But unfortunately, when I put the plastics on it, to have them sit correctly, it is pushing on the gear shifter, which is an absolute no-go. So the goal of today's video is not that. The goal of today's video is to figure out why that is happening. When you move the bike, that is a thing. So I got to take the front end apart, look at the brakes, figure out if it's a bearing or a brake issue, go from there. The second thing I have to look at is this catastrophe and debacle right here. You see all the oil, the wet oil right here? Well, if I pull the seat off, and you look right down there, you see that bolt right there? Yeah, that's not flush, not even remotely. So I gotta work on that. I gotta work on the body. This is gonna be a project, but I'm really freaking excited about it because I've owned 50-something bikes and I've never once worked on a 400 AT. So this is a really cool experience. I'm gonna be sitting out here trying out my new AC, hoping it cools down just a little bit. There is insulation in my roof up here. I know that for a fact. There's not much in that wall, and that over there has insulation as well, and there's some on the back wall here. Nothing on the front wall. So I'm hoping with 3 out of the 4 walls having insulation, it gets decently cool in here. Not really working at the moment, but I'll give it some time. I just plugged it in about 20 minutes ago. And I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing up on the ATV jack, yank the front tires off, and find out why it's locked up and is wanting to bury the left front so bad. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off for now, punch it back in here in just a little bit when I got the front end torn apart, see what we're working with. Well, this is probably an issue right here. I mean, it does not. I had to work. It took me probably every bit of 10 minutes to pry this drum cover off the brakes. And now the only way I'm gonna get to fit back on is by pounding it back on. So I've got to figure out these wheel cylinders are locked up, you know, or what the situation is. And basically I just gotta try to figure it out and get it to adjust back down some and go from there. I don't really want to replace the wheel cylinders, but you know, that may be the only real feasible option here, because you know, that rotates great, and yeah, I don't know. So just keep working on this and see what we can make happen, I suppose. Well, I think we made some progress. Moves a whole lot easier now, boy. That's nice. Now, what worries me is the second I put on the brakes, is it gonna lock back up? I don't know, and I'm not gonna try it right now. I'm gonna try it while I'm moving, hopefully help it adjust. I hit it with some WD, see if it works. Now, the next thing I gotta tackle is this valve cover here, which is not gonna be anywhere near as fun because this plastic piece is pretty much right up in the way, but I should be able to put something on it and hopefully try to get it to tighten up, and we'll go from there. It looks like about a 10mm to me, so that's what I'm gonna go with. So yeah, so 3 bolts were loose. That one right there was loose. That one right there was loose, and really one of the more important ones on it right there, that one was just kind of dangling. Actually wasn't even remotely tight at all. So yeah, that's probably part of the reason why it was pouring gas out of the valve cover. So we'll take it for a ride, just from the backyard, see how she does, and spill a little bit of gas. So I'm starting to get a little bit high. So I'll go ahead and open the doors, cut the AC machine off, and take it for a spin, see how it goes. Now for my next trick, this winch that is hooked up to nothing has to go somewhere. Now it looks like the winch itself is bolted in right here, and I'm assuming right up underneath here. Let me see. Yep, there's a bolt under there too. So I'm going to save the winch because I don't think it's ever actually been hooked up. I think it was literally just put on here and then sold. Now, with that being said, this is going to have to get cut off of here, which sucks because those are actually pretty welds. Well, decently pretty welds. Maybe I'll just cut the top part off and just leave it for reinforcements. Because it looks like they welded this bar in here too. So maybe I'll just leave that on there for the next buyer. But this is going to come off of here. I'd love to put 12 volts to it and see if it lights up. I'm not going to do that today though. Alright, so I'm going to get my tool out and see if we can get this thing off. So, okay. Redneck body repair done. I don't know if I want to tell you how I did it, because if one of y'all go and do it and get hurt, I'm gonna feel really bad. But it has something to do with the winch and a chain. That's all I'm gonna tell you, because that should keep me from being legally responsible. Do it the smart way. Don't do it the redneck way. Unless you're a redneck and are not scared of getting hurt, then do whatever you want to do. Now, with that being said and done, let's get this body put back together. So now I've got really good fitment on my plastics up here, which means I should have really good fitment on my plastics for everything else. I got to go through and put all my body clips back in, and then I'm going to go spray it down. And so far, so good. No leaks coming from the valve cover. So that's all it was just the fact that those bolts weren't tight whatsoever. So I'm going to go through and put this thing back together. Wham bam, thank you ma'am, I'll be back with y'all in a second. There she is, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the second time you've actually seen me have no idea what the hell I'm doing and somehow wind up making a really good product. So the only thing I'm missing that I have yet to find that I'm not sure I give a shit about is this cover right here, mostly because the body, even though I pulled it out, just doesn't seem to want to fit like it's supposed to. It's probably just crumpled up. I mean, the front end fits like it's supposed to. It fits like it wants to. Everything else fits great. It's just right here. I'm guessing the mounts have been pushed backwards a little bit. I took it for a test drive. Still got a little oil spilling out, but not nearly as much. I'm thinking it's just residual from last night. Although I'm seeing, oh yeah, right there, a little bit of a gap. So I got to work on that one. But I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. I'm pretty stoked. I'm not gonna lie. So anyway, guys, thanks for sticking around with me. Really good day. Got my AC installed. I'm about to fire that bad boy back up and see what she does overnight. Other than that, nice video, great day. Thank y'all so much for hanging out. And when we get 300 supporters, I got a special video for y'all. So let's get to 300. Peace.